Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Transparent Conversation. My name is Frances. And if you're new here, thank you for having a conversation with us. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And I'm Chrislyn. Thank you for having a conversation with us. Today's topic will be: do you think race plays a part in your perception of reality?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially living in America, everything is about race. Whether you like it or not, everything is about race in America. That's one of the worst part of it. Worst part of living here, specifically as a immigrant person. It is all about race, which was a shocker to me when I lived back home. I didn't. I I didn't know I was black. Well, I knew that I'm black. Like I knew that I'm dark skinned, but I wasn't referred to as black. Back home, our identity is not rooted in skin color. We mostly rap our tribes. So I'm from the crew tribe, and I will be a crew woman. Like that's what people will refer me to. Like, oh, she's a crew woman, and if I was a girl, they would say she's a crew girl, but never she's a black girl or black woman. Not until I came to America for me to see people referring to me as black, and I was shocked. I didn't know what to really take take from that. Like, what do you mean I'm black? Like I know I'm dark skinned. What do you mean I'm black? I'm black. But for that to be an identity here for me was something different and new.
And even for me, my first introduction to what exactly race was like when my father came here first and he had the experience of racism.
Mm.
And then when we came, like my mom and my brother and I, when we came to the US, he kind of like told us like his experience and what black meant in the US and what it should never mean to you as a black woman, as a black person.
That's actually pretty good. Like, not a lot of African parents, specifically Liberian parents, really sit their children down and have this conversation with them, right? The identity of blackness that most African parents conversation that they're going to have with you will be about black people, right? Because the propaganda about black people is so strong, it even makes it way back home to Africa. So around the identity of blackness will be, oh, black don't be running around with the black children and the black American man because they be in gang, and it's just all those propaganda, like pretty much harmful stereotype that they would give to you, but they would leave out the most important part, which is your identity that white people try to shape for you. So they don't speak about the white part, right? They only speak on not to get involved with the black gangs and all those things, but never talk about the fact that it's going to be a very hard thing for you growing up with white people trying to shift your own worldview and your identity.
And I think a reason, of course, I can't speak for my dad, but I think a good reason as to why he was able to kind of break it down to us is because, like you said, race isn't in everything.
Yes,
Um,
everything is about
Everything is
race.
about race,
And that's
yes.
why I don't like when people say it's not about race. Everything in this country is about race. Everything.
Yeah, and I think from my dad's perspective, race kind of played a big part into classism
Yes.
because when
Mhm.
he was growing up, he didn't have the opportunity, like back home, like in Liberia, he didn't
Mhm.
have the opportunity to get an education as early as some other people. So then when he got to the age where he was able to, his brother was able to help him further his education, other people that he went to school with kind of looked down on him because of his like social status, because of his lack of access to education.
Mhm.
So then that idea of someone looking down on you based on your socioeconomic situation, I think he saw a mirror of that coming into the US because, again, education was a big thing for him. So, coming to the US, the first thing that he wanted to do is get his education because he understood the importance and the power of that. So, then again, I can't speak for my father, but based on what he kind of told us, he saw a similar thing in American schools where the white people would also look down on you, not just because of your socioeconomic situation, but based on the color of your skin. So he's always had a very set disdain for people who would look down on others based on things that they could not change and based on things that don't necessarily mean that a person is bad. Like just because a person's poor or has lack of access doesn't mean they're bad, or just because a person has a different skin color to you means they're bad. So I think because my dad has such a deep like disgust or distaste for people who look down on others because of that.
I think your dad and I are the same. I cannot stand when people look down on anyone.
Yeah, so I think once he experienced that and he made sure to remind us that don't let these people make you think of yourself as less than for no reason. So I think that's why he kind of like harped on us because education was a big thing for him and he never wanted other people's idea of us to negatively affect us.
Because the truth of the matter is, they again it's all of this racial stuff is forced, right? They are just trying to gaslight you to make you believe something that they have made up for you. So the whole race plays such a key role in everything. How you view yourself, the type of health care that you have, social economic status. We know that people who live in a poor neighborhood have less health care. They don't have access to insurance to be able to get the care that they deserve. And then on the other hand, they don't educate that mass like the way they're supposed to. And on top of that, there is also this distrust for the healthcare system based on how they treat Black people. So race plays such a deep role into everything. How you look at yourself, how you dress, your beauty standard. I remember growing up, they tried to um enforce the beauty standard as a white person beauty standard. Like I'm supposed to be skinny, tall with flat butt,
Or yeah.
and I'm not tall. I'm not fat, but like I don't have that. I have my little curve on me. You know, I have my Afrocentric look on me, and I don't want to abandon that to try to follow um a white identity. You will even see this in like relationships, not just relationship, this propaganda of femininity. When they speak on those things, they are pretty much talking about white people, right? Oh, the white women was this and they did this with the husband, but it's like I don't care. I honestly don't care at all what a white woman does if she's mad. I don't care. This and even ingrained into our community too. You will hear some red pill podcasts. Like I saw some clip on, it may have been Facebook or TikTok, stating that Black women need to take notes from white women because they know how to secure a man and do this. And it's like I don't even know what this information is supposed to mean to me because I like what am I supposed to do with this information? So race shaped everything around us. The amount of money that we make, right? You can't. They do their best to keep you in poverty. So me and a white person may have the exact same experience or same college education, but somehow the package will be more than my package when it comes down to um, salary wise. So it plays a major role in everything. No one can even gaslight me to tell me race doesn't play. I live in this country. I know how much I know the roles that race play in this country.
And I think a key word that you said that kind of stood out to me was the word forced. Because why would you need to force something, force certain groups into poverty, or force these, like I said, negative stereotypes? Kind of shows that because you're trying to force and narrow a person's identity in a small box, kind of brings to light that they were never meant to be that, or they never, that's not natural to them. So like forcing a person to try and dim their light kind of shows like, hey, these people, or like this individual, kind of obviously has something that either you want or that you don't want to have to compete against. So I think
Mhm.
it's kind of interesting, like the word force is like you're forcing something that was never meant to be. You're
Yeah,
forcing something that isn't natural to someone.
it's addition to the force, it's also delusion. Like
Yeah.
I think they are extremely delusional. People that are racist are just delusional people who think it's all in their head, right? Who wants you to believe that they are better than you. Like they create this whole narrative of delusion that they want you to internalize. And the reality is like they cannot support the delusion of race that they have going on. They cannot give a fact or evidence that they're a better race than a black race. They can do it because they're not. Like I don't know if it's the African in me, but like I think I'm better than them. Like this African in me is like a person that attempt to make me feel less than hate to see me coming.
Yeah.
They hate to see me coming because I don't play in those things. I'll give an example. I had a contract in Texas, and one of the people that I was working with, he's a white man. There's a thing about them; they really think that they are in charge of black people, right? He came at me. I warned him the first time. I'm like, you do that again, I will not warn you again. I'm not gonna tell you another time. And he did it again, girl. I got on him so bad. I literally put him on fire. And right when I was done, I took it up to the director. Then I took it up to HR. I lit him up, and I told HR that I cussed him out. Like I told them, like I wasn't going to hide it. I said he's gonna say I said some things to you. Everything that he said, every cuss word that he said, I could probably tell you more if you want me to. Like I told my director, like this is it, and he thought running to them was going to make them, um, I guess, relieve me from my position. And I told him in his face, I said, if I'm leaving, you're leaving with me.
You have to call it out.
You gotta
You
call
have to
out.
call it out,
Yeah.
because otherwise they think. Because have you ever had a moment where like you're in a store and you're like standing looking at something, like a
Hmm.
white person will try to like force their way through or expect you to move for them?
Yes.
So it's
Oh,
like you have to call it out, and don't
and I don't move.
don't let them intimidate
You
you,
gotta
or
take up space.
yeah, take up space.
I don't move. I make it my duty for them to move and walk. I take up space wherever I walk on the whether it's a sidewalk in grocery store. I don't even go out of my way to make them feel what they try to make black people feel. Like I would see them and I'd be like, hey, could you tell me what the price of this thing? I don't care if you work there or not. I just be like, hey, they'd be like, oh, I don't work here. I'm like, oh, I thought you did. I said, oh, work here. Okay. Okay, then never mind. It's like, yeah. And then when you do that, they will try to like spark a conversation. I just walk off. Like, no, you say you don't work here, it's okay. I'm gonna just find someone that works here. Because racist or delusion, you gotta break that delusion that's in our mind. This superiority complex that they try to push out to make you feel less than, you gotta break it immediately. Because it shapes your identity.
Yeah. And this delusion or forcefulness is in almost every aspect, like you said, of every aspect of our life. In this article that I found that talks about um, the psychology of racism, the article title is A Systemic Approach to the Psychology of Racial Bias Within Individuals and Society. And this article or study kind of breaks down the five systemic factors that kind
Mhm.
of um, have racial biases. So the five systemic factors are power and privilege disparities, cultural narratives and values, segregated communities, shared stereotypes,
Mm.
and nonverbal messages.
Oh yeah.
So we can first go over the power and privilege disparities of trying to force like poverty on certain communities,
Yes.
or don't give certain levels of access, or don't give certain like grants or opportunities in
Hmm.
order to limit the amount of power and privilege that certain groups have to kind of like hold over them.
Hmm. Because they want to feel superior. That's why. Um, that's why they do what they do. It's a system. I'm gonna keep saying this. The system was designed to work exactly how it's supposed to work. So the system they built in, it's not broken. It was designed to operate like this. Like those system, in order for it to not work the way it's working, it just has to be dismantled completely. A new one has to be built. And because America is not going to allow that to happen, they were just going to keep adjusting and adding on as time goes by. Because those barriers, those racial barriers that they have down for people, they do that best for them to be uninsured when it comes down to insurance, do not have access to the best doctors that they're supposed to, because they know money is everything. Money solve all your problems pretty
Yeah.
much. Money solves your problem. It gives you good health, because when you have money, you are able to afford better health care for yourself, better insurance, and you're also able to pay people to help heal you, right? And because they fight to put black people in a specific, black Hispanic people in a specific um category when it comes down to wealth wise, is why a lot of the time our community face harshness when it comes down to epidemic, like epidemic and pandemics. The lower economy people face a lot more compared to those who are not living in those areas.
And natural disasters too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Natural disasters. And they, because the people are not getting quality health care, they are not trusting the information that is being given to them. When you don't trust those things, you're not going to go to the system that is doing everything it can to destroy you. So it it all works. It worked how they wanted to work, right? Because if you can go to a good PCP, primary care physician, to get a checkup on you, and you are not eating well, as you notice, you will see a lot of poor community have a lot of gas station, a lot of convenience store, corner stores. It's designed for that.
Yeah, very limited grocery stores for like
Yeah.
fresh fruits and like
Hmm.
healthy options.
Correct. It's literally designed for that, because they don't want you, they want to keep pushing this narrative. And you see that a lot, right? You see that a lot, even when it comes down to crimes. Actually, it's all propaganda. And if you take your time and go on the FBI website, white people commit the most crime in this country. But they would sit down and try to push a propaganda of black people because they want to destroy your identity.
Yeah. And in order for these systems to kind of continue, or in order for these racial biases to kind of stand firm, there has to be like an assumption that this is how things are supposed to be. In the section of the article that talks about power and privilege disparities, it states that children who are socialized in an unequal society without systemic explanations for why power and privilege have been concentrated among certain people often internalize that system.
Mhm.
Both children and adults tend to conclude that the way things are structured in society is the way they should be. So I think it kind of points back to what you said earlier of how a lot of African immigrants don't explain to their children as to why certain things are the way that they are,
Right.
and don't maybe even like go down a history lesson as to like, okay, this is why this thing is. So in order for these systems to kind of continue, there has to be this underlying assumption that this is how it's supposed to be, this is like
Right.
normal.
And they and it actually is disservice to the children though, because if you are not telling your kids about this deeply rooted issue that is in this country and you're bringing them up here to live, the kids go through a lot, right? Even for our people who come in and make good money, but when I have children and place them in a white school, I hate that so much, because that child is going to go through so much identity issues because all they see are white people. If you place your kid in a school where, because you want them to get the best education, this is how it's shaped, right? You want them to get the best education, so you put them in a private school, which a lot of white people have their kids. So now this kid is not seeing a lot of black people in there that they can look up to.
And I think a big part of their, a lot of their collective mindset is based on cultural like narratives and
Mm-hmm.
values. That this is a second factor in the article that kind of highlights the concentration of power and privilege among white people, means that like white people largely are the ones that write the histories. They
Mm-hmm.
set the norms within their own communities, and then they set the norms that they project onto others. Because in this article it says because like white people generally, they write the histories, at least for the US, and they set the norms and define the values of American society. They kind of, they kind of have this own perception of how they think the world is supposed to be, or how they think other people are, and then
Mm-hmm.
project that onto others. Even in the most progressive, um, like happy go lucky like families, they
Mm-hmm.
probably do have to do that inner work of like, what are some, like what are things like negative stereotypes that I think of other people, or that I, what are some underlying superiority complexes that I have that makes me think that I'm quote unquote better than, or um yeah, better than other groups of people. Because there's nothing wrong with obviously acknowledging people's differences,
Right.
because you can't go around saying I don't see race. Like, no, you
What?
very much
You
do.
see race? What are you? I
Yeah,
cannot stand, especially when I hear a black person say they don't see race. You ain't colorblind, man. I
yeah,
know you are not colorblind. You see race.
yeah.
You
So
should
you
see
should. So it's very
race.
strange, because why does you seeing race means that, oh, I don't see race, because I think they see it as I don't see race, therefore I see everyone as equals. But why
Mm-hmm.
can't you see race, appreciate people's differences, and still be able to put everyone on the same playing field, or
Correct.
appreciate people's differences? Why do you just have to ignore it? Why can't you just accept it, appreciate it, and then move forward and of like, oh, this is my equal?
Mm-hmm. But I think they're lying. I think people who say that see race, but because they don't think is to the extreme,
Mm-hmm.
Then they say they don't see race. I think because they don't think whatever racial thing that they are going through is the extreme, like other people that experiencing racial issues, they come up with the lamest "I don't see race" talking point. Like, no, you should see race because it's in front of your face. You are either intentionally being obtuse about what's going on, or you just want to be oblivious. That's just the bottom line, because there's no way you can say you don't see race and you have social media, you live in a real world, and you also have friends and family. They tell you stories, you know? I think they are filtering it through the lens of it wasn't bad on my end, so I don't think it's a racial issues. That's what I see it as.
Yeah. And the third factor in the article that talks about like racial biases and the different systemic factors that are around us is segregated communities. I
Mm,
always find it interesting that you can have a majority white community and they come out having negative ideas of other races or other ethnicities or communities, but then for us who are like African and were born in majority black, excuse me, countries, we don't see a white person and think, oh my god,
right.
they're dirty, oh my god, there's something wrong with them. Like, how is it that we can come from a country that's majority black, and not have these negative or hateful ideas about other groups of people, but majority like white segregated communities,
It's mental
you
illness.
most you they mostly like see other groups of people as like negative, or
Because
like they end up racist. It's
it's mental
strange.
illness. Like, they suffer from mental illness. Like, a racist person suffer from extreme mental illness. They suffer from extreme case of delusion, and that's just it. And when you really go around them, you recognize that they're just as basic, and whatever hate is fear too. They have this deep fear. So now they want to bring you down because they fear you. They fear anything that is not white, right? So they come up with this really crazy notion. Like, even what you said when it comes down to us living back home, I really didn't see white people back home like that. I wasn't looking, I wasn't checking for them. So I never really saw them to say this person is this. But this is what I will say: they have been our people back home has been programmed to see white people as superior too.
Yeah.
You will notice, if you go home, you will notice the difference in how they treat white people back home and how they treat their own people back home.
Even comparing how they treat skin tones, skin bleaching,
Mm-hmm.
big thing.
Yes,
So
yes. And it's all because of the beauty standard, the white beauty standard thing. Because if they think men like women that are close to whiteness, they will want to bleach the skin because they want to get close to whiteness.
yeah.
And it makes me so angry because whiteness is nothing. It's just it's just a thing
Yeah.
that they want you to believe that they are better. There's nothing exciting or cultural about it. There is really nothing like that. Like, this propaganda that our people is under, it feels like they're under a spell. I really need them to release themselves from it, because for you to start that mindset, and it's one of the reasons why most of our people that come up here conform, is because they already have that mindset from back home. One of the top ways to even break that delusion is to just do research.
Yeah.
Literally, before I even knew white people committed the most crime in this country, the propaganda was forcing me to believe that it was black people that was committing the most crime in this country, and it's not. It was not until I went online, went on the FBI website, and found the sheets that they have there, right? And I went through everything. I went through rape, murder, armed robbery, pedophilia. I went through everything, and they led in those places, in those areas. So knowledge will really break those false perceptions that these people try to push on you. They try to put a narrative that as black is bad,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes our own people will also push that narrative on you, will make you feel like, oh, don't be around these black American people. They're always in trouble, something like that. I know that talk was given to me. It was not until I went to college until that changed. I had a black American boyfriend in college. I had two black American boyfriends in college. Well, one was my boyfriend, one was a guy I was seeing, and the other was. But it took until I went to college and experienced friendship with them. Some of my close friends are black Americans. So, and now that I'm here, they can tell the difference between me being African and me being them being Black American, to loop us all into that same category. That's when my fight for those false information became very strong, because now, like, no, not only the fact that you try to take my mind and make me look down on the black American here. Now you want me to keep that mindset, and you want to add self-hate to me as well, so that I hate myself.
Yeah.
So knowledge really break those delusions. It always work. Your power lies in knowledge. And a racist person is just a lazy person. I don't want to get up and do any research because they want to hold on to the delusion that they're better.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're not smarter. They're not better looking. There is really nothing. Whatever wealth they hold is because of how they harm people to get it.
For the next factor that plays into racial biases is share stereotypes. And in the article, it talks about how stereotypical representations of people of color continue in the contemporary media. On
Mm-hmm.
television, people of color tend to be depicted in negative and stereotypical ways as outside mainstream contemporary society or not presented at all. And I think it's interesting because not only do you see negative stereotypes like in real life,
Mm-hmm.
people saying like negative things about black people, about people's skin tone, but you see it in media,
Yep. Movies.
movies, all that. And it's interesting the idea of trying to push that black people are so negative and so terrible and that their culture is hidden and spoiled, but yet you copy it, yet you pick apart things that you like and you gentrify it and take it as your own, or you kind of slap a more palatted version that doesn't show the pure authenticity of that particular aspect of a culture.
That's what I said. You, if you pay attention, it's pure hate and delusion mixed
Yeah.
with fear. This is what it is. It's pure hate and delusion mixed with fear, because they want you to fear something that you are. That's one of the things too. They want you to fear yourself, and they
Yeah.
want you to fear your own race. And I always say this: I don't feel comfortable being around white people. Like I just don't, right? If I'm the only black person around a white person, I don't feel comfortable there. I need to feel comfortable with black people around me. One of the reason why I love my neighborhood, that it's not all white people. Like, we have black people, we have Indian people. Like, diversity matters to me, because they would fight tooth and nail to demolish you, to make you feel small, even when you're smarter than them, even when you're better than them. They would try everything to make you feel smarter than who you are. So I I make it my duty, want to not be in rooms with just them. And if I am, I make it my duty to make sure they're uncomfortable at any given moment. And I won't shrink myself. I won't make myself feel small for them either. Because you would not shape my identity.
Yeah.
You would not make me hate my features on my face. You would not make me hate my people. You would not make me hate my own people that looks like me, whether they were born here as American or born back home. It doesn't matter. There is nothing you can tell me that will make me hate my skin color and people that looks exactly like me, because the facts are facts. I take my time and I do research and I would dismantle all of your stereotype and your fear and your delusion by just showing you data. That's how you combat them then. Because the people, most people who are in those racial place are uneducated people. They don't take that time to even try to educate themselves.
The last as like factor in different racial biases is nonverbal messages, not
Mm.
just media, but based on, like I said, body language. The example I gave earlier of people trying to like
Mm-hmm. Try to
trying to
make you,
rush you or trying
yes.
to make you move for their sake when they could easily like move themselves.
Yeah, that's some of the crazy things that they do. They try to, they will do little things like you said. They will see you walking, but then they will walk straight to you, hoping that you move out the way so they can walk. That's some of that clues, right?
Hmm.
Because they want to put that fear in you, like this is my role. Like, no, I pay tax in this country and it's helped build this role, so I'm gonna take up space as much as you. You're gonna be the one to move. I'm not moving. And you have to stand firm with them, because if you don't, they would literally run you over with that racism. That's why they don't like people that speak up a lot. They want you to accept the bull crap of that racism that is thrown at you.
And the best way to combat that is one, kind of understanding your own stereotypes that you might have about yourself and your people, or
Mm-hmm.
your perception. Because I remember in college I would often feel quite intimidated being the only black girl in the room for like an engineering degree. Oftentimes when you were told to like partner with someone, you would either be like the last person that's partnered,
Yes.
or you would like be trying to partner someone and then people would ignore you and you would try
Right.
to like fight your way to like, listen, I have to
Right.
get this project done one way or the other.
Right.
Somebody needs to be my partner. So I think definitely growing up, although my parents did instill, like, Crystal, you're smart, Crystal, like, you can do anything, definitely still, even in the past and even now, still having to overcome my own negative ideas of
Mhm.
thinking that other people, whether a white person or even like a man, is smarter than me, when like I know I
Right.
am fully capable and I know the kind of person I am. So being able to kind of get uncomfortable with my own negative ideas about myself, even when it comes down to my hair. I went natural in high school and I decided for myself, hey, I don't want, my mom to perm my hair anymore. I want
Mm-hmm.
to do my hair myself. And even when I made a decision of going natural, it was a long process of constantly like not liking how I looked before I stepped out, be
Oh
like
yes.
like even sometimes crying before I step out, like, oh my god, I hate how my hair looks right now, let me like cover it. But now I've come to the place where I almost exclusively wear my hair natural, or even will wear like braids. Even when it comes down to thinking about skin color, making sure I check my own biases about like, even sometimes you think, like, when it comes to discoloration, and like as a black person, not you're not
Oh,
your whole
I had to
body,
let go of
yeah,
that.
your whole body isn't gonna be one solid color. some parts of you are going to be darker, some parts are going to be lighter, and you can't think that certain parts of you are ugly or try to hide it or try to like bleach it because like, oh, I don't like it, that doesn't look good like that. It was like,
Oh my goodness, Christine, you're saying all the right things right now.
yeah, like there's so much unlearning, unpacking, deconstructing that you have to go through first internally, and then you
Hmm.
have to go into checking maybe even your own friends, checking your family. Like when your parents would like make slight comments, like "ooh," like try to pinch your nose.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
why African
I
parents do that. They always would pinch your nose. It's like they're giving nonverbal cues,
correct.
like showing like
Correct.
nonverbal cues, like, oh,
That
your
your
nose
nose
is
is big
too big.
because they want everyone to have this Eurocentric nose.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Even with makeup, like I had to stop contouring my nose. I stopped contouring my nose years ago because I didn't like the fact that I had to go out of my way to make my nose look like a white person nose when I am a full blown West African. And I should be proud of my nose. I had to unlearn all of that. Like, I'm like, why am I constantly trying to take every spot off my body for me to look perfect or pure? Like, that whiteness is not the standard. I shouldn't have to look like that. I mean, when I shouldn't have to want to make myself a white standard when I am a black person.
exactly.
Even with my hair, I stopped trimming my hair. I got into my locks. I started embracing myself, breaking down all these white beauty standards. Because of that standard, the white beauty standard that they were pushing on us, it took a hit at my self esteem when I was a young girl.
Yeah. So it definitely starts internally, from internally of how you think about yourself, your thoughts,
Hmm.
to how you try to change yourself physically, to check in your friends, check in your family, check in your colleagues,
Hmm.
checking like how just how you move around life. Like a lot of things, a lot of ways to get better and combat these things is one, to speak up, but also to like check yourself internally. I think that's the biggest way that people can come back. And also, don't ignore things that you know are very obviously like racist or wrong.
Right.
Don't try to think, oh no, this is normal, or I don't want to go through the trouble of having to like change this. But like, make yourself uncomfortable enough to one, acknowledge racism when you see it,
Hmm.
acknowledge racist or stereotypical thoughts, but
Right.
also combat it and go against it. Like, make yourself your own standard. You know, instill that into the younger generation, into your younger siblings, friends, cousin, even kids, however you want to do it.
I agree. And one thing I really love about transparent conversation, we're really big on creating your own standards because as women, like we did the work, right? And we're still doing the work to be comfortable in taking up space, we live in our own skin in the world that try to break us down, not just on the racial aspect as a black woman, but in the world of patriarchy, who is basing the standard of what women should look like on a white standard. So breaking all of those things down, deconstructing those things will be a lifesaver. And when you see it creeping in, come like immediately
Shut it
shut it
down. Shut
down.
it down.
Check it. And actually I said, why do I think I should say this? I do that all the time with even friends. Well, my friends are not like that, but like if I family, I do it with family who may make a stereotype um saying, and I'm like, why would you say that? Why do you think that? Because our African people, the older generation, really have a hard time believing that they are better. Like they always, and even when you notice when it comes down to donation, right, and working and all those things, they have this bad idea that, oh, the moment a white person comes into whatever organization they're doing, they think is it has better value
Yeah.
compared to the black people that have been serving in this particular organization, right? They try to make it's an unaligned thing, and I see it all the time, and I call it out in my family. Like, why do you think that white people need to see this before it goes this place? Why do you think that now your organization is better because there's a white person that decided to join the board?
Yeah.
Why do you think those things? So you have to make it your duty to check them and check people around you. Break those stereotypes. Same way that I break those patriarchal misogyny that people try to come to me. I'm like, why would you think men are better at something than you?
Yeah.
Like, question them. Let them force them to question that beliefs so that they can do the work. And it's not your job to make them, but it
Mm-mm.
should be a job to check whenever someone is trying to make a racial thing grows bigger in your present.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because things thrive in comfortability.
Mhm.
Things thrive when you allow them and just sit. But things can only change in your perception of yourself, and others can only change if you shake things up, if you get things moving, if you like make yourself not just other people, but make yourself uncomfortable. And
It starts with you.
it starts with you. It always starts with you.
Correct.
In conclusion, when it comes to racial biases, racism can only shape your perception if you allow it to. Racism can only shape your perception of reality if you allow it to sit there unchecked, unresolved, and unaddressed. So your perception of reality is only shaped by what you allow. So don't allow things that you don't want to define who you are become your reality.
I agree.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. This was Transparent Conversation. Thank you for having the conversation with us.